Welcome back to our MSFS A to Z series. We've reached the letter H and today we're tackling one of the most intimidating but essential skills in a pilot's kit, the holding pattern. Whether you're flying a Cessna 172 or a Boeing 787, ATC is going to tell you to stay put. Today we'll look at what holds are, why we use them and how to fly them perfectly in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Think of a holding pattern as a waiting room in the sky. It's a standardized racetrack shaped flight path used by air traffic control to delay an aircraft. Why? Usually it's for three reasons. The first one is traffic congestion, the airport is too busy for you to land yet. 2. The weather, a storm is passing over the runway. Or 3. Emergencies. You need time to troubleshoot a technical issue or burn off fuel. A standard hold uses right hand turns and takes about 4 minutes to complete. 1 minute for each straight leg and 1 minute for each 180 degree turn. If ATC says non-standard, they mean you'll be turning left. So here we are in the air, pretty close to Rotterdam, the Hague airport, and this is what we're gonna use to showcase one of those hold patterns. You might ask, okay, why is he actively pausing? Well, because I want to draw the lines on the screen. So let me move in this area and then I can show you what I want to do. To do that, I'm gonna first show you the EFB, right? The electronic flight bag, because that one has a chart. In this case, what I did, let me increase the size of the screen. I added the approach, of course, and then we're here at DOVMU. And you can see that Rotterdam, the Hague airport is added here, right? You can do that either by going to the airport and then pressing the E from India. This will bring you to this window. And then you can go to those maps, because the maps contain the information. And if I now select ILS-Y or log Y24, you will see this map. It might be a little bit hard to see, but on this map you see multiple things. First of all, you see a holding here, which is at DOVMU, and you see another holding here at Kaku, right? And here it also says holding at ATC discretion. So this is when you're instructed by the ATC that you need to hold, you need to follow this pattern. For the DOVMU one, there is no specific instructions when to use it, but I'm gonna show you, I would say, on the screen how you should interpret this, because these are the angles, right? It's the parallel which you will follow continuously until you exit the hold. And what you see is that this line as well as this line are, I would say, in parallel to each other, and you see those turns. As already mentioned, you always make a right turn unless instructed differently. So let me close the EFB and let me show you on the screen how you should, in this case, enter the hold pattern, because there are multiple ways. And to showcase that a little bit better, I'm gonna increase the altitude of the drone, because now we can see the aircraft a little bit from a higher altitude. So this is what I'm gonna do, and now I'm gonna show you what the ways are to enter that holding pattern. The first type of entry is the direct entry. You just fly to the fix and start to turn easy. The next one is the parallel. Fly to the fix, head outbound parallel to the course, then do a big 225 turn to get back on track. And the third and last one is the teardrop. Fly to the fix, turn 30 degrees away from the outbound course for a minute and then hook back around. So we're in the Cessna 172 with the G1000 navigation system. So we're gonna zoom into the primary display. As you can see, the autopilot has been switched on. We're flying to DOVMU and we can see we're approximately 4 nautical miles from the waypoint. And DOVMU was that one where you've got that holding pattern. Well, how to use that one? Well, in the G1000 it's pretty easy. You press the direct to option, then in some cases you need to change this, right, to the correct, I would say, nav 8, but in this case DOVMU is correct. And then you will go to that hold pattern. Then you press OK, and the only thing you need to do is enter the course, right? That's that 334 which you saw on the map, which is in the EFB. And then once you've done that, you can go to the next one, right? You can say, hey, it's an inbound or outbound radio. You can change the time, as you can see over here. And you can also change it to, for example, the distance, right? So time or distance, those are the options which you can select. By default, it's time, and that's what I also explained in the video. Besides that, you got, of course, the left and the right turn, which you can change, but default is right, and then you simply press load. If we now go to the flight plan, you will see that the flight plan has a hold, and if we go to the screen on the right, you can also see that the pattern which you previously saw on the map is also being added. So these lines, right, these straight lines will take you approximately 1 minute, because that is what we configured. That's what we configured. If you would say set it to 2 minutes or maybe longer, then it will fly a longer pattern, right? Then those straight lines will be longer. You can see that it enters it like this. I'd say it likely doesn't follow the line initially completely, but once it made a turn, it will, I'd say, follow that line pretty well. So let's see what happens, because we're pretty close now to DOVMU, right? 1 nautical mile from it. And what you will see is that something will change here. And that something, I already explained it, is it will go into that suspend mode. Because it shouldn't follow the rest of the flight plan until I hit that suspend mode again. Because the hold is there for a reason, right? Maybe it's really busy at the airport. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe I need to, let's say, use a lot of fuel because my aircraft is too heavy. Those are the things which you can use, I would say, for doing the hold, right? You can resolve all these things. And now you see what happens, right? You can see from DOVMU it goes to the hold instead of going to Kaku, which is the next one, F8. And you can see that the suspend mode has now been activated. Also, it's displayed here, suspend mode, and will fly this pattern until I press the suspend mode. And of course, I will show you also in a few minutes. That will take you roughly 2 minutes. And then I will show you what happens if I press that button, because then it will follow the normal flight path again. So super nice that this is possible. And it's, as you can see, it's pretty easy to configure in the G1000. The only thing which you need to keep in mind is, of course, you're setting up the say radio correctly, because that's super important. But you can use that nice EFB for it, because it contains that chart, right? The chart which I showed you earlier, it contains the chart with all the information. Let me zoom in again. Right, it contains all the information. It says, okay, hey, 334, and then 23 knots. This is the maximum speed, the altitude, and we're now flying that pattern. Well, roughly, not 100%, roughly the pattern. So let me close it, and you can see that I would say our aircraft is already over here, right? And it will start, let's say, making that nice turn again, and then we'll go to DOVMU again, and then we can press that suspend button, because then it will simply continue with the rest of the things, right? It will continue with the rest of the flight plan, and then it will follow it to Kaku, etc. So this is how you can use it. In the top you can also see that you're in a hold, so it will show you the hold is there. It shows you the distance. Distance is, I would say, measured from DOVMU, because we're flying away from DOVMU. But in a few minutes you will see that it will start turning, and then we can go back to DOVMU. And once we're close to DOVMU, I'm going to press the option, because else it will remain in that racetrack. You hear a lot of other YouTubers also referring to that. It's almost a racetrack, right? Almost like a NASCAR race or something, which are also, I would say, driving on those ovals. That's what you do with your aircraft, only with a lower speed, of course, and not really on a racetrack, but a racetrack in the air. You can see it now makes a nice turn, makes the turn, and we can look outside. It's beautiful weather. It's also, let's say, well, it's a little bit cloudy. There are a lot of, let's say, ships over there. So super nice. Now we're on our way, and then we're gonna continue with the next, I would say, straight line. And that again also takes us approximately 1 minute, right? Approximately, not 100%, approximately 1 minute. And that's super cool. At least I like it. I like the way that this works. But maybe it's me. What are the other things which you need to do for this hold? Well, nothing, right? That's the cool thing. With the G1000, it's relatively easy. Of course, you can also decide not to use the autopilot, then it's simply following the pattern yourself, right, by using the joystick. But in this case, I want to show you how it works with the autopilot. You can see that with the autopilot, it works perfectly. It follows that line, and then we're almost on that, let's say, aligned with DOVMU, and then we will press that option where we will exit, in this case, the holding pattern. So let's wait for some time, and then let's see what happens. So here we go. Windmills. You can see clouds, so I would say it's a little bit, say, well, a lot of clouds, right? So not even scattered, but you can see that they're on different altitudes, which is always nice. And now we're on our way to DOVMU again. So once we're close to DOVMU, I will press this option to show you what really happens, because then it will exit the loop or the racetrack. It will go, let's say, from the racetrack onto the normal highway again. And this, of course, is also something which you can use, I would say, during, go rounds, right? Go rounds, we discussed it last week. In some cases, you will be also asked to go into a hold pattern until, let's say, there are slots available that you can try it again. That also works exactly the same, at least in a Cessna 172 G1000. And of course, I will also show another aircraft after this one. But let's first complete this one. So we're pretty close to DOVMU, right? 0.9 nautical miles. And I'm gonna press that suspend button as soon as we're at 0.5. Then I'd say leave it. And I will say, hey, let's go, let's continue. So I'm gonna press it, here you go. And what you now see is that it will start turning, right? It will start turning, which makes sense because, hey, we're close to DOVMU, and then you will see that it will follow the normal flight path. So what will now happen is we will fly from the hold to Kaku, which is the next waypoint. And we continue our trip, and then we can safely land, hopefully, in a few minutes. But of course, that's part of another video. Mastering the holding patterns make you a much more confident IFR pilot. Practice those entries in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 until they become a second nature. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for the next letter in the series. The next letter is I for ILS, and you don't want to miss that one. Until next time.